This is Jamey Boyum in Longview. I'm here with City Spokesman, Longview City Spokesman Richard Yeakley, and we are here at the Longview Swim Center, the pool, the big pool, I guess, here in Longview. And as you guys can see behind Richard here, there's a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, so this came up because at the most recent city council meeting, our parks director, John Albertson, came to the city council and said, hey, we want to bring you up to speed about what's happening at the Longview Swim Center. We want to get your vision for what we want to do with the Longview Swim Center moving forward, and also what we want to do with our aquatics program in general. This pool and Ingram Pool are our two outdoor public pools, and our pool system is reaching about 50 years old, and so there's just some end-of-life issues that are going on, particularly here. The race pool behind me was closed all last summer as we were trying to figure out what was going on. There was some leaking where water was getting behind the liner, there was some leaking in the gutters, and so we brought in a professional engineering firm, and the punchline is we'll probably need to replace the whole shell on both of these pools, both the rec pool and the race pool. It's going to run $2 to $3 million. If we want to do some modifications, it's going to be $4 million. And so we thought as staff, and the parks director, John Albertson, said, we need to go to council. We need to make sure that they're up to speed, and we really need their vision for what they want this pool at the Longview Swim Center to look like moving forward, and also what they want the aquatics program in general in the city to look like for our residents.
Yeah, right. Of course, this is the other pool, which was open last year. It's a bit green right now, but you know, 'tis the season for green pools because nobody's getting in it. Not even with this and my wetsuit. Ain't happening. But you had a problem with Ingram Park pool too last year. This last season, although that was taken care of, right?
Yeah, we actually did at the very end of the season. The issue with the pump over at Ingram Pool got fixed. So that one should be ready to go for this summer. But again, these pools came about 50 years ago when there was a bunch of federal funds that was poured into communities like ours because of an increase in childhood drowning. So here at Longview Swim Center, we have 800 plus kids every year usually that come and do learn to swim lessons here. Thousands of people come and participate in just fun swimming here. And so we know that the aquatic system broadly is very valuable to our residents. And so the question is, how do we move from where we are today to make sure that it is the system we want, again, for the next decades of Longview residents to take place, to take part of, and to enjoy?
Yeah, because this pool is on Pine Tree ISD property.
Absolutely. So that is one of the factors related to the discussion about what to do with Longview Swim Center, is that access to this facility sometimes is limited because it's on public school property. Pine Tree ISD is great partners. We have a great relationship with them, but they own it and we lease it. And obviously they can't just have the public coming in at all hours of the day and all days of the week when they have students on campus. So it's regulated versus unregulated access. Ingram Pool, for instance, is at a city park. It's on our property. So if we wanted to open it on any given day, we kind of can. But there are, we're always working with Pine Tree ISD on that access issue as it relates to people being able to use this public facility.
Yeah, so, you know, if it wasn't on this facility, Pine Tree ISD's property, it might be open a little bit longer because, you know, it's still warm usually when school starts.
So that's part of the discussion that Director Albertson had with the council. One of the options that he presented was, you know, if we actually moved away from the Longview Swim Center, if we abandoned this property, what could it look like to build a new aquatics facility at a city-owned property? But other cities that have done that, you know, it's cost up to $13 million to build a new facility with all the bells and whistles and the slides and the, you know, lazy lagoons and all the things that you maybe have seen in other communities. And so again, we kind of wanted to hit the brakes. We wanted to take it to council and say, there are some options that are on the table before us, and this is where we are, and we really need your guidance, because whatever we do with aquatics, it needs to be the right solution for our residents moving forward.
Right, and so I guess at this point, you're just doing a lot of fact-finding.
Yeah, so that was the outcome of the conversation at the December City Council meeting, was they said, thanks for bringing it. There was a long discussion, and then it was, hey, there are still some more information we need before we kind of get to any point of a decision. And so staff is going back, we're taking the questions that they had, and we're getting them the answers that they need for them to make an informed decision moving forward.
Now, and I guess, whether it's $2 million or $14 million, it's still millions of dollars, and that's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah, funding is going to be a part of the question, and ultimately council will decide if that looks like finding space for it in the budget, or if that looks like a one-time expense using some of the money we have in reserve. I'm not going to presume to tell council how they're going to pay for whatever it is they decide to do, but certainly we want them to be aware of those options and those possibilities as they're thinking again through the aquatics. I will note our parks department is finishing up the updates to its master plan. That's been a thing that's been ongoing in 2023. And the original Parks Master Plan and then the update that we're finishing now, and John Albertson said this at the council meeting, like, it shows that the community still really values pools. It still really values the aquatic system. And so I don't think it's a question of, are we going to do anything, right? I don't think we're necessarily moving to all splash pads, right? I think it's just like, what is the best fit for our residents moving forward, and what is the best way to serve the community?
Okay. Are you going to have maybe any kind of public input on this at all?
On this pool question, that'll probably be a council thing. I imagine if they're renovating this one, if they're getting this one back up to speed for the next 20 or 30 years, we'll just start the process, fix it, and move forward. But if it's imagining what a new facility, or even imagining what modifications to this facility might look like, that tends to be the time where we do bring in the public and make sure to have their input. We've done this at all the parks that we've done for our bond issues. Spring Hill Park, McWhorter Park, we have these public meetings to get public input. So normally when we're bringing in something new, we definitely want community buy-in. And we fortunately already have some of that through the update to the master plan. We've been able to already hear from residents how much they value our aquatic system. And so we're able to use that information moving forward.
All right. Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. We're just looking forward to a good summer. I know it feels weird with me in a sweater talking about pools, but May, June, and July are going to be here before we know it. So it's just important for the residents to know that when we have opening dates and all the information that we always have, we'll of course make sure that they know. Don't tune out, because we'll make sure to share the information once we finalize our summer schedule as we get closer to it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Richard.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the information. And so, yeah, that's what's happening with the pools. There's just a lot of questions right now, so they got to look into it. We'll have more later on KLTV 7 News and KLTV.com.